So early intervention for me has been called many things over the past 18 months as we've rolled out this new name. But many of you may be most familiar with Child Development Services, or CDS in general, that abbreviation. A lot of folks refer to us as Part C. Early intervention for me is the equivalent name for of Part C. We represent Part C, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So yeah, supporting infants and young children in Maine birth to 3. Next slide, please. Early intervention for me, birth to 3, is the state's lead agency charged with upholding and implementing Part C of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, also referred to as IDEA. So Part C of IDEA broadly defines the requirements for states nationwide as they develop their own early intervention systems for infants and toddlers up to 36 months. Maine's early intervention model puts the child at the center of all of our work. Our early intervention providers and provider teams also invite families into the process and make it a priority to align with parenting individuals and all primary caregivers who are surrounding that child. Next slide, please. We help children birth to 3 achieve developmental and learning milestones. Research shows that children birth to 3 respond best to caregivers they know and trust. Our collaboration around children empowers their caregivers to include learning opportunities and routines in which within the child's everyday activities, in an environment which is not only familiar to the child, but which also best meets the needs of the whole family. Empowering, collaborative, proven, and safe are words that we use as a program as we provide our services and supports, and also, develop materials, and really every step of the way we reference those words as our sort of guiding principles. Next slide, please. Early intervention programming is provided within an individualized framework designed around the unique needs of each child that we serve. Our services are free and voluntary. We have 9 sites which collectively serve all 16 counties statewide. There are a few different ways to determine eligibility within early intervention, which I'll talk about on the next slide. But once eligibility is determined, we learn from families what they would like to focus on, and how they would like to support their child, along with how often they would like visits to occur. And depending on the child's needs, there is usually one lead early intervention provider who is supported by other experts, depending on the individual child. Sometimes the providers come together as a team for a period of time, again, depending on what's best for the child and for the family. Often we start meeting with a family and we learn that they are struggling to meet basic needs or have other challenges we can help with, and we are prepared to do whatever is necessary to help families get those needs met. Next slide, please. So as I just said, there are a few different ways to make a referral for a child and family to early intervention from me. Based on observation of relational dynamics and other behaviors someone has had with a child, really the range of people who can make a referral is very broad. It can be a parent, another family member, other caregivers, community members, clinical providers, social services providers. It's really broad, and we do that because some things are black and white, but most things are not. And so we don't want anyone to fall through the cracks if there's a concern. The second way is if an infant or a toddler has a specific diagnosis, whether that's at birth or up until 36 months, a condition, exposure, or event. This information, is usually noted in the medical record. Sometimes it's not, and so it can be assessed by an early interventionist. When there are specific diagnoses, exposures, events, et cetera, auto eligibility is likely for a child and family when any of these occur and are also listed on Maine's established conditions of risk list. Which we'll talk about more in a minute. The third way is really through assessment or screening by an early interventionist, and based on those results, we can make a referral. Next slide, please. So Maine's established condition of risk list. This is a tool that I'm really trying to make sort of more commonplace. It's a great reference for anyone who's working with young children and families. I did share our most recent version with Mariah, so that will be either that has been shared or will be shared along with my PowerPoint. So, and if you need one, also feel free to reach out to me, but this is a really important tool. What I have shared here is, a snapshot, underscoring some of the things that are automatically eligible for our programming related to substance use disorder and other challenges. This past year, alcohol exposure in utero was the condition that was added to the list. The list is updated a few times a year, and those decisions around what's added are shared with community stakeholders and partners and staff input, that kind of thing. And another recent, within the past couple of years, established condition that has been added that has really helped us serve a lot more children and families is simply substance exposed infant, meaning we don't need any more information than that. Again, sometimes we get a referral for a substance exposed infant, and we go for a visit, and parents or caregivers really say, well, gee, the infant looks fine. We have no concerns. And it's free and voluntary. So, it is ultimately the decision of the caregivers whether or not they want to work with us. But over the past couple of years, we've made it a real priority to, have conversations about how, meeting a few times a month to observe the infants and talk about what's happening over time can be helpful, because sometimes things come up, months down the road, and our model is geared to serve whatever might come up. Next slide, please. So I want to highlight here a few partnerships that we've cultivated over the past few years. These partnerships are really supporting the how of our work within earlier intervention. And so to start off, we currently are engaging all of our staff in the Brazelton Touchpoints approach model and training. And early intervention for me is now a Brazelton Touchpoints training site as well. We have a team of 6 Touchpoints trainers, and our goal is by the end of this year, 2025, that we'll have all of our providers and other staff, whether they be administrative in some capacity, anyone who's supporting our families in person, by phone. All folks are going to be invited to take this training. The touch points really helps us deliver our services in the way that we strive to, because it focuses on the how of building a collaboration and respect within the dynamics that our providers are creating with families who may be faced with any variety of challenges, including substance use disorder. The Touchpoints approach places a lot of importance on the quality of relationships, as we do within early intervention, and establishing a really consistent and open experience for both the young children and families that we serve, so that the children ultimately will thrive. Another model that we've engaged recently, the attachment and biobehavioral catch-up model, designed to bring skills to high-risk birth parents who may not have had healthy family relationships or experiences themselves. The focus is on supporting and building healthy, nurturing, mutually responsive connection and attachment between parents and young children. With the support of MaineMOM and Maine General Hospital, early intervention, for me, we currently have certified ABC providers through both our Lewiston, Auburn, Oxford sites, and also our Portland site. And I'm also going to put Liam Shaw's email in the chat. Liam is at Maine General, and he oversees the ABC training. Liam is also happy to answer any questions that anyone here today may have. So we'll put that contact information in the chat. And lastly, MAMA is another initiative that we have engaged in the past 18 months. MAMA is a mental health support and emotional wellness platform. And it's for individuals and caregivers during the perinatal period who may be struggling with mental health or emotional wellness challenges. The platform is primarily virtual, although in-person visits are offered with mental health providers, and they also are available. MAMA has a team of mental health providers who are licensed in Maine, along with care coordinators who connect pretty immediately with anyone who has a positive screening for depression, anxiety, or any other level of mental health challenge. We initiated a MAMA pilot through our York County site during the second part of 2023. And since December 2023, we've continued to offer MAMA through our York site. As a result of that pilot, though, we were able to gather some data and information that indicated a very high positivity rate for depression and anxiety during the perinatal period. And this year, 2025, we are working right now toward offering MAMA through all of our early intervention sites, which would mean that anyone who we are engaged with, whether it's intake or they actually decide to, work with us and have their child supported through the program, they will be offered the opportunity to explore MAMA. And, I just want to finish by saying that we want this experience for our clients to be one that they feel safe in. And so anyone who comes to MAMA through the early intervention pathway can be assured that the experience is 100% confidential between themselves and MAMA, and any demographic data that we collect, it will be and is de-identified. Next slide, please. And so this is a great, really a reference slide all the information needed here to make a referral or connect with any of our sites. Also have provided a link to our new website, which I hope all of you are able to have a few minutes to check out. And always feel free to reach out to me directly at any time. I'm happy to provide any information. I have more, and this is very quick and high level today. So we are going to share a couple of short films that we created over the past year with families who we are working with within early intervention. Thank you so much.
Really good. That's
the pushing and pulling.
Yeah, at the kitchen table. So good because he's showing that interest and it's independent movement, which is kind of like why we started with the standard anyway, is just to be able to give him.
My name is Heather.
My name is Ryan. We live in southern Maine and we have 4 boys. Bo is 18 months old. He's just the happiest, sweetest kid. When he was 5 months old, he was diagnosed with a rare form of diabetes, which has caused him some kind of global delays, but he's great and he's a trooper.
Our pediatrician was able to recommend early intervention as an option shortly following Bo's stay at the pediatric intensive care unit. I didn't really know much of anything. I had heard people had used it, but I assumed that it was going to be a long, difficult process. There might be long waiting lists, thought it might be costly. It was none of those things.
I don't know why I didn't think of that this morning.
Bo, do you want to go, go, go? All right, here we go. All right, what do you want to do? Yay!
We were able to get an evaluation in our home, interdisciplinary with multiple different therapists. We didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. It was just much easier than I had expected.
Boy, he's turning, he's pushing.
It's been really beautiful to see the relationship that we have built with Ryan, who's our physical therapist. She comes at least once a week, and she's also present for any other therapies that come. So when speech therapy comes, Ryan also comes too. Ryan has attended Bo's well child check visits. She's attended neurology visits with us. She'll meet us at appointments, and we've discussed doing some of his therapies out in the community. She is such a great support and inspiration to empower us to really take these therapies that we do with her and feel confident that we can do them throughout the week.
When we first started, Bo couldn't really feed himself. He couldn't even hold up a glass or a sippy cup to drink out of. The progress is incredible.
Time flies, and it's amazing to think of all of the great gains that Bo has made and all of the resources that we've been able to tap into. I've been blown away. I had no idea that there were so many resources available. It's truly amazing to see the progress that Bo has made, starting out as a 5, almost 6-month-old who could barely tolerate tummy time, absolutely miserable, could not roll over. Now he's sitting independently and really has much more core strength. His verbal abilities have just skyrocketed, his cognitive abilities. He's able to interact with his environment, do things with purpose, and we're really excited and hopeful that in the coming months, he will continue to get stronger and hopefully take his first steps. If there are other families out there who are unsure whether their child could benefit from early intervention, I would say please, please take the opportunity to explore. I promise you will be blown away by the number of resources and wonderful therapists that are available, case management, social workers, and all at no cost.
Yeah, it's life-changing. I couldn't imagine where we would be without them right now, where Bo would be without them.
Rosie is 2 years old currently. She is extremely energetic. She knows what she wants and she's not afraid to ask for it and make sure she gets it. She's a little firecracker. She's also really funny.
She's loud and she loves dancing and she just loves a good time.
I had heard the term early intervention before, just in the past. I never really looked into it, but then noticed her speech wasn't where her peers were. So we brought it up to her pediatrician, and the pediatrician actually mentioned referring us. So we went straight for it. Of course, you have the initial worries. Have I done something wrong? What can we do to help her? What can we do to set her up for the most success? But then it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. And I got into the mindset of I'm gonna do what's best for her to help her succeed in her life. And that is the best thing we can do for her. I definitely felt very heard and respected throughout the whole process, even in just the interviews before we even started the program and the Zoom meetings and everything. I definitely felt like they were on our side and wanted success for Rosie as much as we did. We started when she was about 1.5 years, and we started having the meetings. She started out not even saying mama yet, barely even really babbling. She wasn't interested in playing with other people. She was very kind of isolated, but that has completely changed since starting with early intervention, because now she never stops talking. She is learning new words almost every day.
She's really sociable. She loves meeting new people. Like, she saw you guys come in, she's going, "Hi, friends."
And prefers to play with others instead of by herself now, which is really great.
Wanna try that?
We met once a week up until about 2 months ago, and then we started doing every other week. They actually come to our house, which is very convenient, and it helps to have Rosie in her familiar environment.
It made it so that you and I, as new parents, are able to work together as best as possible.
Like teaching us how to teach Rosie. And the provider gives us some tips and tricks to use to help bring out her language more, even some tips about helping her with her sensory issues. We also are able to kind of text throughout the week and be like, "Oh, Rosie did this today," and it's nice having somebody to celebrate with.
And it just makes everything so streamlined and easy. You wanna grab one? It's all a team effort, and I have like a greater understanding of the autism spectrum and all the things that, you know, my daughter needs to be comfortable and things that can be accommodated for her, and I don't think I would have been comfortable with that without the early intervention.
Feeling like you're not being judged for even just seeking out this kind of help is very important, because it allowed us to really dive into the program and be able to do our best for Rosie. It's just been a huge blessing and a really good peace of mind to know that somebody is like in our corner and really rooting for us.